Right, where are we? Adoption. Sorry, I just forgot why I wanted to do this. So I'm hoping if I just keep saying it, I'll remember. I remembered. So our children, two of our children are adopted, as I'm sure you know if you've been watching me for a while. But anyway, where I wanted to go today was children. Children are blank slates with regards to who they hate, who they don't hate, who they like, who they don't like. Racism is something they have learned, and also it's something they experience. It is based on experience. Children can think. Toddlers can think. So yes, we do see the videos where little child loves her brown friend, or 8-year-old loves her black child, a white 8-year-old, all of that, and there are always the comments, see, racism is taught. True. Look at the child in our situation in Maritzburg who wanted to play with our children, who saw nothing wrong with coming into our house like he goes into his other friend's house, but his mother saw everything wrong with it and then even stopped him from playing around our house. That woman in Maritzburg, Cape Town, not Cape Town, it's 100 kilometers away from Cape Town, Maritzburg, Western Cape, has taught her son, I don't know what other children she has, to be racist, to hate black people, probably not even view them as people. So there's taught, but there's also experience. So before I go into the adoption thing, I just wanted to also conscientize us to this. I don't even know if that's a real word. I've just heard many black people use it, here in South Africa especially. But my children were age 4 and 3 when we went to Tanzania. They had grown up all their lives here in Cape Town with our black church, mostly black church, though it was in a non-black city. There were lots of foreigners and there were lots of university students, and most of the university students, because most of South Africa is black, were black. So they knew black children. They hung out with black children. They went to class and there was only one half black child. She was mixed race, black and white. Otherwise all the children were black, and yeah, we did what we had to do, and that was fine. But when we got to Tanzania, that's when we were now leaving after 9 months of being there, then I realized that experience makes a difference on children's outlooks. We got there, we were the only foreign black people. Everyone else was Swedish, Canadian, South African, wife of a Canadian man. So all the children were white. All the head missionary children were white. And the ones who were around our children's age were all white. There was another black foreign family alliance from Zambia, but their children were much older. So the children played with white children for months, and they had fun. I think the very first time we got there and the children got to meet each other, Emily, she was probably 5 turning 6, she put my son who was 4 on her lap and she cuddled him like he's a little doll. That's what they saw and experienced. White children are nice. They would all go to the lake together, not lake, believe me, it was small, a brook together. They ran around. That mountain place where we were was just the compound where we lived, where all the missionary work was going on, was huge. We were at the kind of bottom of the hill. You go up the hill and there's the agricultural school where young youths were being trained. There was a sewing school for whoever wanted to learn sewing, and there was a big hall. There was lots, and was spread out. I think it was 3.5 kilometers to get to the other children's place. I might be wrong. So you can walk up, it was safe. So they would walk around together just on their own. No one had to watch over them because there was no predator. There were snakes. There were snakes galore. But the snakes even used to come into our house. So they just knew, stay away from a snake. Simple. So they would go to the lake, they would catch toads, they'd look at frogs together. It was idyllic. It was idyllic for the children. I hope that's the correct pronunciation. It could be idyllic. Idyllic. Stick to that. It was lovely. It was peaceful. The children were peaceful. Well, there was one boisterous girl, but she wouldn't even be called a tomboy. You wouldn't even say she probably had ADHD. She was just boisterous and energetic. And there was a gentle child from Sweden. They were all just lovely, children, and crucially, their actions and behaviors were like ours. They were the same. But there was a Tanzanian family next door to us, not very close, but the next house home next to us was a Tanzanian black family. And that one little girl especially, there were 7 of them adopted by the man. That girl was, I don't know, she was just naughty. She was naughty. And the children didn't like playing with her because she's naughty. And she was almost like mischievous in a horrible way, like throwing things at them and thinking it's funny. That's how she was. So they didn't play with the black girl. They played with the Swedes and the Canadians. We went and then we left, but we didn't think anything of it. We didn't think of it as in the black girl. We just thought, oh, I've forgotten her name, but because they called her by her name and said, oh, she's not nice. So we just knew she is a problem. And then when we were driving through Malawi, my children said, we don't like brown children. We don't want to play with brown children. They're stinky and they're naughty. Here's the thing. We come from a place where we have access to water and soap and bubble bath. That place was poverty stricken. When you went to church, and especially if you're like me and it's very sensitive to smell anyway, it was hard because not everybody, but it stank of armpits, body odor. Because people would walk kilometers to come to church. People didn't have soap and deodorant. And so it was stinky, and the children were stinky. Understandably so. Without soap and water, how do you keep yourself smelling good? You can't. So that's what they experienced. Brown people in Tanzania are stinky. The children are not nice, and it was a culture shock even for us. It was not close to get to the market. We'd go on Sundays. There was no queuing. When you want to buy something, you just barge in ahead of everybody else. We are used to queuing in an orderly line, and you all then buy. But everyone's just talking and grabbing, and people were picking their noses without care. It was not our norm. There was no politeness the way those of us watching know politeness to be like. So there was that too. Brown people, because of the experience they now had at turning 5 and turning 4, are not nice. Brown people push, and they do push. They even pushed the children to get something. It wasn't like you were lining up. It was push and shove to get to the bananas or the plantains because they'll finish quickly. It was not nice. So the children learnt that brown people are horrible. But when we played with Emily and Tulissa and all of them, they are nice, and they happen to all be not brown. But of course, we just explained that it's the culture. The culture doesn't have the same rules as we do. So that's how things happened, and we explained why they were stinky. And yeah, they were fine with it. And they definitely were fine with it because they played again with brown people here, and it was what they were used to. So it all goes back also to what you are used to. And we were stared at a lot by the other brown people. We didn't dress like them. We didn't look like them. Even in Kenya, it was people, one person told us, I can tell you're definitely South African. So we didn't look dressed. We were stared at, and it made them uncomfortable. It really made our children uncomfortable. So my hair was different. I had locks. I was growing locks. Anyway, yeah. So children learn by what their parents teach them, but also based on experience. And now we come to the adoption thing. Experience also comes from what others say around you. Experience comes from how others frame what they say, what they think about you. Here we go. Children in school versus children at home. As in education, educated at home versus educated at school. At school, there are other children. Other children have their own frameworks, their own viewpoints, their own paradigms. Not all children are kind. There are bullies in, I bet, every school. There's violence in every school. There's hatred in every school. Obviously, there will also be racist children in every school. At home, it's kinder, hopefully. We do know that bad parents, it's kinder and gentler. And it makes a difference then to how children view their adoption. Especially when they are different race. But this isn't even a matter of different race. A friend of mine mentioned how one of their children, I won't even say the gender, one of the children, because of what a friend at school said, I wish I could go to my real mom. Real mom has a negative connotation. It just generally does. It's like the other one, the adoptive mom is an imposter, like she's fake, and they need to go back. That's the thing with the phrase real mom. It's demeaning and degrading. But because they don't match with their skin, she's not the real mom. Obviously, everyone can see as soon as you come as a family, they all know that you're already an adoptive family. That's the one problem with being transracial. So, not my real mom. And then later, their siblings adopted from different biological families, like most of our children. We're not real brothers then. There's a negative framework, and I don't know how, as teenagers, how they will work around that and what that will mean. But that's how it is. You're not my real parents, you're not my real brother. On the other hand, Marissa, she asked yesterday, so if you didn't adopt us, would we have been in different families? So I said to her, honestly, you'd have probably been in different children's homes. And that's the other thing, my children don't understand how dire the situation is. The year we adopted, there were only 1,600 adoptions. There were 500,000 plus children in need of adoption. So 499,000 and whatever was not adopted, were in children's homes, what used to be called orphanages. So they wouldn't have been adopted. And most likely, and they would have gone to one baby home until age 18 months, and then moved to another children's home maybe until 6 years, and then it's so bad. I hate this. I hate that adoption needs to exist. So I told her, well, given your brother was born in a totally different district to us, you might not have even been in the same vicinity. You would have been in totally different children's homes. And how did she frame it? She didn't then say, so he's not my real brother because there's no blood bond. She said, oh, I'm so glad you adopted us. I would be so miserable without him. I love him so much. Again, it's a childish way of seeing things. And as I explained in another video, she is not 10 years old in much of her development. But that was sweet. And it made me happy. It makes me sad, on the other hand, that there are children who, because of what others are saying, feel differently. We are less than. We aren't real. We aren't a real family. And again, as I said to my friend, it's so sad how even adult adoptees, not all, view it as a matter of, if they hadn't adopted us, we would be with our biological family. They would have been in foster care. It's not like adoptive families go to random people and say, give us your baby, and then the mother says, okay, fine, if you have to take her, then take her. They put them in foster care. We adopt from foster care. Those children could have definitely not been in any family, even a fake family, those children of my friends, but they would be in no family. And that is also horrible. And that is also horrific on the children's psyche. A friend of mine used to take fostered children who are in a children's home on weekends. And the way those children hated that they were foster children, there was a difference in them versus the other children, because the government does not give you enough. At that time, they were only giving 350 rand. That was just like a tin of formula, and that's it. You believe me, nobody, and I know this is true for every country, nobody is a foster parent because of the money, though they don't get much money. It's a service. And so they would have plastic bags to put their food in. They looked different. Were different. And instead of having a fake mom and dad, they had no mom and no dad. They all were just living together in an orphanage / children's home. It's not black and white. Yes, pardon the pun. It's not black and white. So if you're a young adoptee watching this, please remember that we didn't take you from your parents. We took you from foster care. You were already left, sometimes purely, truly abandoned, or you were given, hopefully, for a better life. And your parents, if they did place you for adoption in foster care, they weren't able to keep you. They were never going to keep you. They were never going to be a mom to you. Those who chose it. Unfortunately, many years ago, many didn't choose it. So that's what I'm saying, if you're young, because unless the parents of your biological parents are cruel, most of you, especially in South Africa, most of you are placed by choice. So the option would be foster care or adoption. So please look at it that way. Do you want a family, or just to have no family and have nobody to call family, to call mom, to call uncle, to call aunt, nobody who is yours. And then when you are 18, nowhere to call home. Nobody to even try pay your university fees and all of that. Unfortunately, there are even fewer of you who are being adopted. Most of you are probably in foster care, if any of you are even watching this. And I'm sorry about that. I wish I could do more. I wish I could adopt more of you. But let me go back to my point. Again, we should be mindful of this. And if you hate homeschooling, this is for you. Homeschooling gives our children a better foundation, adopted children, to be sure of themselves, to know they belong in this family or their family, without extra voices telling them they are less than. Homeschooling has a benefit. Many, but this is one of them. Okay, what about school? School is different now, because I know that so many of their motor issues are issues. So many of their motor skills are not skillful. So let me just move back a bit, because I know they're really struggling with almost everything. I have dialed it down, or dialed down the school, the like proper book work, except for my 5-year-old, who is becoming like her oldest siblings, in that she's now reading some words on her own, and she's learning to type words. I told her to type the word sad, and she typed the word man. First she struggled because she said MN, but then when I said it out again to her, she's typed man. So we are going like further ahead than her preschool book expects her to be, than where her preschool book expects her to be. I mean, her preschool book is still saying, put the letters together that start the word in this picture. I'll show you a picture of what we were doing yesterday. And it's also other things like numbers. She wrote numbers, I'll show you just now, but every single day she improves her numbers without being coached, without ever learning how to write the numbers. She's writing them better and better, and I know I say it a lot, but it's still freaky that my recently 5-year-old child is writing numbers that I can read when her 9 and 10-year-old siblings can't. It's just odd. And I'm so proud of Mickey when she does things, when she writes a letter, and a letter that he obviously can't write, because he really can't write any letter except maybe L. He will say to her, "Oh, well done, Nene, well done," like she's made such a huge achievement. I'm proud of him. He's a good encourager. So yes, it had to be paste your picture and then put the letters that go with the picture. It's so simple for her. And I used it, and I did do it, because it needs her fingers, eye-hand coordination for gluing the pieces down. So I did do it, but she is far ahead. Besides the typical confusing B and D, lowercase sometimes, which can go on for years, she knows her letters. So it's so silly for us to go so slowly. Now this is G. She knows all the letters of the alphabet. So what I'm doing is I'm doing more of the practical, hands-on stuff for her preschool. I'm giving them history, I'm giving them cultural information, social studies, South African style. And I'm hoping that she will be able to do Cambridge. I'm really praying so. If one of my siblings, teen children, could pass Cambridge, AS levels and IGCSE, despite being diagnosed with autism, if we can get past the PDA, she'll be able to. And I was heartened by a mom whose autistic child is able to study, but because of his PDA, he wasn't listening to her. He wouldn't listen to his dad, and he failed. But then they found a tutor, and the tutor and the child clicked, and he passed his AS levels and is going on to university. Sometimes it's trial and error, just like all syllabi, all curricula for all children. And I'm just hoping that at least one more of my children will be able to have a fuller life than the other three, that they'll be able to have more options. I don't mind people who become tradesmen, artisans, who become bin workers. We need municipal workers. We need someone to work with our poop. We need someone to take our garbage. But I would like it to be a choice, not because there's no other option. So if she did, I'd like her to have a broader variety of things to do, and unfortunately that helps her quality of life and her cost of living, and it's just the way it is. The menial jobs don't pay as much as office jobs, depending on what they are. I've seen some au pair jobs that pay much more than many office jobs. I'm not sure what I think about that, but anyway. So yes, that's where we are with our school. That's what I meant, that my poor child at 9 years old can't copy these simple patterns. It's scary and heartbreaking because you don't know what the future holds, and that's why it stands out, and that's why it bothers me. I don't know what the future holds for them, especially with government colleges and technical colleges, vocational places. You apparently should have at least done a grade 9, a formal school grade 9, and there's no way my child will be able to manage that. This is my son's work. I wonder how my daughter would be if I asked her to copy it. I don't want to, but she will be soon, because she'll move on to this curriculum anyway after she finishes her preschool. She's at the age where she should be doing the preschool work, but I think she'd even manage it. She is average intelligence, so we're doing well there. My other children are my biggest heartache. I was explaining that we are moving through their books, but the things they had problems with 6 months ago, they still have problems with today. Despite therapy, despite slowing down, despite many other methods of explaining, the brain does not want to cooperate. Things are not improving. Reading is not yet improving. And it's just disheartening. It's sad. It's just sad. You don't know where you'll end, if they will ever improve, if it's going to take 3 years to do 1 year a level, to move up a level, or they'll never move up a level. I don't know. So I'm doing more hands-on things, more physical exercise, and I'm just letting them play more and incorporating some more fine motor skills, like the drawing on glass, on standing upright and drawing, and more eye-hand visual perception stuff. I've printed out some things that are just simple, just to put a dot in every single circle you see, but that trains the eyes and the brain. So I'm doing more therapeutic than textbook. We've slowed down, and I might as well. My son still can't copy just simple shapes that he should be able to copy at age 9. Age 9, people. And he can't copy them yet. So we have to slow down. His brain is not there. Sister's brain, similar. It's not there yet. So I'll just share a bit of what our life, or what they've been up to. Some of the stuff I wasn't there. Unfortunately, I just can't go anyway. I can't go away anyway. So it's a lot of pictures where I wasn't present. That wasn't even the cameraman. I wasn't there. And what did I want to say now? There was one last thing I wanted to say. Oh, just life as an autism mom is an autism mom with level 3 children, level 2 and level 1, and just lots of ADHD. Oh, I cut my finger yesterday with paper, cardboard, and the cut is still open. It was bleeding yesterday. I covered it up and the cut is open. Cosmetics, like all other biologics, slows down wound healing. So it might take a while to close up, but I need to keep it covered because infection getting into there. If you've been with me for a long time, you remember the paronychia that happened, and I needed 3-4 rounds of antibiotics to get rid of it. The very biologic that suppresses the immune system so you can't fight infection is the one that you then can't take while you have an infection until it's gone. And then you completely derail your treatment, which we don't want to do. So it's been throbbing since yesterday. I'm praying and hoping it closes up eventually. So that's where we are with health. Autism, yes. My 5-year-old, not much of a talker, is just so, it's like we just want to get into her world, but you can't. It's a constant grief, a constant sadness that you feel, because it's like she's there, but not really there. She will smile at you and then she'll just go, make, noises. She doesn't say, I'm happy to see you, or hi mom. She said hello once to me, like of her own volition, in all her 5 years. Last week she came in and said hello with a weird voice, and she wasn't looking at me. She just said hello, and then she just did her own thing. Those little glimpses that make you hope and wish that, or think that it might be better one day. But then you will ask her, what is this? She will not answer. You point at something, she will not look. She will start an activity on her iPad, and then when you engage, she's gone. She's not interested anymore. Next activity. Her brain is still switching over very fast, even with the ADHD medication. But she talks to herself. And I wish she would invite us into her world. I wish we could share her world with her. It was very windy yesterday. I'll show you a snippet that I took for a children's story. Wind! Stop blowing! Wind! And she was in my room and she's looking at the trees waving like this, and she could hear the wind. And she looked and she said, it's windy. To herself, not to me, to herself. She comes into my room and she says to herself, Rio, square. When she sees a square on the floor, she talks to herself. I don't know how much she's thinking, but she's talking to herself a bit, and I would love to capitalize on that, but I don't know how. She was doing coloring in. That's her current fixation now, coloring in. And I showed you the other video where she was coloring in and making sure that the wheels are a different color to the rest of the bus. She's still doing that coloring in, and she was naming the colors. Once in a while she would say brown, whispering brown, as she made the bird brown. She has the information, some of it, but I just don't know how much of it, because she doesn't answer. Sometimes I'll say, is this purple? Is this black? And then she'll say, no, or she'll say, it's yellow. But that's 1 out of 30 times that I ask. Other times, yeah. Back to fixations. My other 5-year-old, his twin sister. Okay, the sad part is she is violent to me and her siblings. And yesterday I had to separate them. her sister was shorter than her, my Nene, wanted to go sit with her sister while they work on their iPad. And then I just said, no! So I went running. My talkative one was shouting, no! So I went running into the bedroom, and my bus baby girl she had her iPad open to the Colouring In app, but she wanted to do her sister's one, which is on the same app, but a different form of colouring, and you're colouring in squares. So of course her sister was saying, no, I'm doing my own stuff. So I tried to say to my daughter, okay, Rio, come, I'll find the app for you on your iPad so you can also do the square colouring in by grid thing. She didn't want to. She wanted to keep her freeform app open and take her sister's square one. It's things that, I said this a while ago, it's things that a typical child wouldn't do, wouldn't want, or none of my other 5, even non-typical, even neurodiverse, have not done that. It's all this stuff, it's angst and anger that appears when you don't even expect it, because it shouldn't be a problem. You should be able to think, oh well, if I want to do this, then let me do it on mine and let my sister have fun. So I told her, okay, Rio, you don't do that. And she started grabbing at her sister again and trying to hit her. So I said to Nene, okay, my angel, don't worry, let's just walk out. And her twin was still grabbing at her and pinching her. It's living a life that's not a life. Everything is, your world is smaller. She doesn't want to go for walks still. She still screams as soon as you try go outside to walk around the neighborhood. Now she's even screaming about going to the playground. The world is shrinking, and it shrinks for me as well as the caregiver. My husband, when I asked my husband, how was the afternoon program when he went to church last week? He's like, well, you'd know if you had come. I can't come. I have children who need a parent at home. So my world has to become the children, because if I'm not there, who is there? It really shrinks your world, and you need to be there to keep your other children safe and keep her happy. Because when she's happy, she is so happy. What? Won't you lie down? Lie down, mommy. You can hear birds. Now they're quiet. It is so sweet, and everyone is happy when she's happy. I just wish I could make it that we're just always happy. I just wish I could get rid of the weird or illogical things that cause her to lash out at her siblings. I can take it for now, as in emotionally, but it hurts a lot when she hurts her siblings. When she pushes her brother and he goes staggering back, and yet he's older than her, it hurts. To hear her sister saying she's hurting me, it hurts. There's no other way to sugarcoat this part of my life. I just wish that we had the better moments. And even in this little snippet that I think I'm going to share, where she wanted me to not get up from bed. What happens when she's 20 and she's ramming me down onto the bed? It's cute now, but if I'm lying on the bed and I've been lying on the bed with her for 20 minutes, I will need to do something. I might need to go to the loo, and you know what happens when I go to the toilet. Then it's violence again. It's living in a horrible moment, knowing that the moment will be worse. I looked back at pictures. I've been praying for 3 years now that my daughter stops pulling me everywhere, stops wanting me. It hasn't happened yet. I tried to go and do Bible story with them myself, like verbally, or to at least be with them when even though I had recorded the Bible story. It doesn't work for both girls. The one, as soon as she sees me, I couldn't even sit before she started pulling me off the chair. And her talkative twin was, Mommy, it's you on the video. Do you know you said? And she doesn't then listen. And she then takes away the focus and concentration and disrupts the other children who are trying to learn. And that's how it is. I'm thankful for my Adventist friends. I'm really thankful for you, because you know what it's like. You know that there's no difference between Wednesday and Saturday. And I'm thankful that you don't give me the trite happy Sabbath that I used to get with other Adventists. There's nothing happy about Sabbath. Sabbath is blessed, if it's possible. But when you are suffering every day physically and emotionally, Sabbath is not special. For now, Lord have mercy, it's not special. I mean, God is with me every day anyway. And the only difference is the schoolwork, the activities I'm doing are different. But I have to still give a lot of work. I have to still give of myself, whether it's Saturday or not. So thank you for hearing that or knowing that. I've never even had to tell them. They just know. She's not going to have a good day today. No day is good. So it would be stupid to say, have a blessed Sabbath, because it can't be. God is there, but His voice and His love are drowned out by the moments of tantrums. Meltdowns, screams. Not God's fault, and I love Him, but Sabbath is not a Sabbath. It's not Sabbath. So yeah, I'm just thankful that people get that. I'm thankful that Frida is praying for my finger to close up, and I hope that it will heal. I mean, close up firstly, because this does slow it down, cosmetics, and that it doesn't get infected. I have put antibiotic ointment on it. My children are healthy physically, minus hay fever, I hope. My non-talking twin, I have said before as well that I worry about her, because like her sister Amarissa, they don't register pain. Her brother came back to me and is like, oh, Mom, she tore her dress, can you give me another dress? She had fallen on brick and slid and torn a big gash wide open on her dress, not even a whimper. How do you slide across brick and not complain? It's sad, because what else is she hiding? What else is happening inside her, and she's not alerting us? Enjoy the moments, enjoy the happy moments with me, and just know, I know God is good, I know God is love, but I'm not enjoying the Sabbath, because it's not a Sabbath. I'm not resting from anything. Like, I'm not resting from anything. It's another day of the week, so I will look forward to the better rest that is to come, where we will all rest. Have a good evening. Have a blessed day, week. Take God with you. Without Him, you are dead, emotionally and otherwise. Guess what? I might be seeing my girl's birth mother tomorrow. I'll let you know if I did. Bye. Do those match?
Yes.
Yes, they do. Then you can pick them up, and that'll help your fingers to get strong, because you guys have weak finger muscles. Good.
Oh, there's a pig over there.
Ooh.
There's something over there.
Mm-hmm.
What's out? Oh. Oh. Mom, I can't do this. Look.
Okay, keep going and then open it.
I did pigs like Auntie Dana.
Yes, did she also tell you to do pigs?
Yes. She did on the swing. Yes. She has because she has treats.
Okay, open it again. Press yes. Now that's it. That's it. Open and put it over. Okay. Yes, you like your princess. Yes, you're a princess. Jenny doesn't think you're a princess. Oh, you're happy. Yay! What did we do? You want me to do some more? What did you do? What must I do now? Can you count? Let's go. 1. Good job. Yes. 3. 2. 3.
4.
Yes. 5. 6. You're not counting with mommy. 7. 8. 9. 10. All the numbers. 3 years post-diagnosis, she's still doing the same thing, where she uses our hands to do what she wants. So I made all those numbers. She wanted them made. She enjoyed them. Maybe one day she'll be interested in creating with Play-Doh, not just looking at Play-Doh. One can only hope. So a few months ago, we did pegging. I mean, it's good for finger strength and finger control. Hanging things. But Nene needed a lot of help then. So I decided, okay, today we'll make some hearts out of paper, and then we'll make some lion faces, and then we'll go and hang, and that'll be our afternoon, our school afternoon session. We went ahead and we did the first 2. Everything was cool. But the third one, my girl was just, I'm tired, Nene. I'm tired. I don't want to do this. But I asked her, please come along. And she did it eventually. She really is weak. She struggles with pulling a peg open. But we did it. And she did it. And she did it. Not perfectly for both. But I mean, the line was wider than a normal string. So she did it. And I was proud of her. And she was excited because this is what she was doing in occupational therapy as well. And that's all I wanted to say, that the things you think of as a parent, they're not rocket science, but they are helpful, and they are the very same things that therapists use. So don't ever look down on yourself. Don't feel too guilty if you can't afford therapy, or if you can't afford as many therapy sessions. Like, we are only doing twice a month, every second week. And some people go every week. It depends on your budget. And if you have no budget, just do what you can. Learn online, use your children's fingers, do Play-Doh, use Play-Doh, putty, modeling clay, peeling oranges, like when I got nail. As you can see from the clips in her hair, she's firmly on the traditional palm rolling twist trend for tightening her locks. No more micro lock, braid lock, interlocking for her. This is how it's working for us, and she is so much happier. She doesn't respond, but she's just too busy, so I can't really spend much time doing her hair. It's taking me 2 weeks to finish her head. to help me make a smoothie. I got her to peel the nachi or the tangerine, depending on where you come from. Those little things are actually big and they make their hands work. Muscles are not only in our biceps and our quads, they're in our fingers. And some of our children have very weak fingers. Plus, it's just good anyway. So that's the one tip or two I can tell you now. If your children have weak or low muscle tone, then it's probably in their fingers and hands too. Do pegging, hanging things on a line, Play-Doh, modeling clay, and peeling. As for me, I was done. I just wanted to get into bed and cry. The pain was horrific. This is not a good life, hey? How do you balance giving your children everything they need versus not straining yourself, especially considering you shouldn't be doing anything at all for them? So the search continues. I'm still looking for centers. One didn't reply. One doesn't work for us. It's not suitable. The third one, I'm still looking around. It's far from us. And I see mostly children who are visibly disabled, and I don't know how my daughter, my non-speaking daughter, will handle it. She's already scared of strangers, and I don't know if she'll handle children whose skulls are deformed. I really don't know, so I don't know that it's an option. But if I can't find an au pair, something is going to have to change. And they do take children who are not potty trained yet. It's I don't know, people. I'm just in a lot of pain. I just want to cry. I've just kept not sleeping. But that's the reality of homeschooling special needs children when you have special needs as well. Oh, the reality is I did most of the craft. My son, people, it is hard to be patient. It is harder still when it's something simple that is you have to keep repeating. I told my son, please color in this rectangle. Okay, Mom, must I cut over here? I must tell him, I said color in. Just color in the rectangle. The rest will do afterwards. Just follow one step at a time. Color in this rectangle. And then afterwards, what will we do? And he hasn't begun coloring in. And as you know, many ADHD people forget. And I just needed him to just follow one step. The others, it was just like it's too difficult, and yet it wouldn't be for typical children of their age. And that's just sad. I really don't know what I'm meant to do with my angels for crafts and activities. While I figure that out, I hope I will keep praying for light and ideas and a school or schools for my children, because I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm in pain. Thank you for listening.
I fell down. You fell down. I fell down.
You fell down.
Like this.
They were meant to be writing upright on the wall, but they also decided to go down onto the ground. Whatever works, anything that will work their wrist is okay with me. And yes, I'm also thankful that we adopted our children. They can play so happily together.